All right, well, good evening. Welcome to Align. My name is Steve. For tonight, we'll use 2 blocks and a strap, and we'll start tonight lying on your back. So find a comfortable position to rest in. You can gently close your eyes. And as you're resting here on your back, trying not to change your breath, simply observe. Observing all the little aspects of our breath. Slowly counting in your head the length of your inhale. And counting the length of your exhale. Are they the same? Do you pause after the inhale or after the exhale? Or is the breath seamless, moving from inhale to exhale without a pause? As you inhale, what parts of your body move? Does the belly rise and fall? Does the chest simply rise? Or does the chest expand equally in all directions? Where does your tongue rest in your mouth? Is it glued to the roof? And really grasping a firm picture of how the breath is in this moment. And slowly start to change the breath. Relaxing the tongue down and away from the roof of your mouth. Relaxing your throat, your soft palate. On our next inhale, we slowly start to lengthen the breath to a slow 4 or 5 count in your head. A nice, long, steady inhale. After your inhale, you're going to add a slight pause. And then slowly you're going to lengthen your exhale so that the inhale and exhale are the same length. After your next exhale, add a slight pause. As you inhale, explore if you could bring the breath down into the belly first, allowing the belly to rise with the inhale and slowly fall with the exhale. taking a moment without judgment or criticism, observing how the body feels, being aware of any aches or pains, tightness, stiffness, those places that you may be holding tension. As you observe your breath, observe the effort it takes to fill the lungs. Is the breath labored in any way? And lastly, we observe the stillness of the mind. Are you present on your mat? And if you choose to do so, you can set an intention for your practice. And slowly start to bring movement to the arms and legs. Going to bring both of the knees into your chest, interlocking the fingers above or behind the knees. Just giving them a hug. Feel free to rock side to side, front to back, little back massage. Keeping the knees into the chest. We're going to extend your arms out to your sides like a T. And on an exhale, we're going to drop the knees over to the left toward your mat. Allow your gaze to fall where your neck is comfortable. And breathe. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. Next exhale, we drop them over to the right toward your mat. Gaze falls where the neck is comfortable. Relax your tongue, your throat, your soft palate. And breathe. And back to center. We give the legs another little hug. We're going to rock up to sitting pose. So one little thing that we can do to sometimes help minimize any pain you may have in your knee, any pose where, for example, like pigeon or Virasana, where we're sitting on a block, where you have the knee joint really bent. What can happen is that, especially as we age and we all inevitably will get arthritis as the meniscus wears, you get that closer to bone on bone, which can be quite uncomfortable. So one option, so I'm just going to take my mat, and if you have a really thick mat, you may just want to roll it halfway, but I'm going to roll it as tight as I can. And I have a pretty thin mat, so I'm going to roll it most of the way up. So I've got a nice little tight roll here. I'm going to stand. Rolled mat goes behind the knees. And we'll go through this together. I'm going to squat a little bit so I pinch the mat here so I can kind of hold it in place as I come down to my knees. And then I'm going to go into Virasana. So tops of the feet on the mat. And I'm going to sit back here. You can take a block or two if you want to take some weight and sit on a block here. Having the mat here, it's like the pin on a door hinge. It gives space. It opens up the knee joint and allows it to breathe as the knee bends. So it eliminates that potential of any bone near bone. And we can sit here as long as, are you okay in this pose the way that it is right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just sit here for a moment or so. This is really healthy for the knee. So as we're sitting here breathing, just I'll give you a few other little tips that you can do. So one, a long day on your feet or, any type of exercise where you may be pounding or something like that, this would be a great recovery. And you can sit in this pose as long as you're comfortable for you. So 5 minutes watching Netflix or something, right? This would be a great way just as a restorative kind of recovery pose. But also in your practice, and I don't have one in front of me right now, but I bought the most inexpensive yoga mat I could purchase, and I cut strips in it about 4 or 5 inches wide.
Mm-hmm.
So just from the short edge here, so I cut just down about 5 inches, and I rolled it tight, and I just put a little tape on it. So when you're in pigeon,
Yeah.
if you get that, have it like a veil right by your hand. And what you can do is when you come up here, put it behind the knee, pinch it in, and you'll feel less tension in the knee, even in a pose like this.
Okay.
So they're really nice, and you only really need one. I mean, you can make a couple different thicknesses, right, to explore and find, a sweet spot, right? One might be a little more comfortable than another, but then you just have them next to you. And I even advise, if you go in person to yoga, just take your little roll with you and,
Right.
just kind of modify yourself if you need it for pigeon or for um, virasana. Just go ahead and just put it behind the knee and um, just so you don't have that ouch or that pain.
Okay.
And then it's just explore with it.
Okay.
So we'll stay here for just another breath. And then you can come up off the mat. I'll give you a moment to unroll your yoga mat and get that set back up. All right, and we'll go ahead and come onto all fours, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Inhale, dropping the belly down toward the mat, arch and look up to the ceiling. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, lifting your back and the head hangs. Inhale, untuck the tailbone, belly drops, arch and look up. Exhale, tucking the tailbone under, lifting your back, and the head hangs last. We'll do one more at the pace of your own breath, starting with the tailbone, belly drops, head lifts, tucking the tailbone, lifting the kidneys, and the head hangs. And just come to a neutral spine. Go ahead and tuck the toes under. And on an inhale, we're going to lift the hips up and back to the back corner of the room. Keep the knees bent so we can really lengthen through the ribs. And breathe. Keep the left leg bent as we take the right heel toward the mat. Bending the right, taking the left heel down. And breathe. Then you can go back and forth at your own pace, what feels good to you in this moment. And breathe. Next inhale, walk the feet forward between the hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands can grab opposite elbows. Gently shake your head. Release all tension in the neck. Next inhale, release the hands. Arms come all the way out toward the ceiling. And exhale down to heart center. So we're going to spend just a moment here in Tadasana. So when if we're standing for long periods of time and standing incorrectly, I'm going to shift this just a little bit so I don't have my head cut off. Standing for long periods of time incorrectly can also create some tension in the knee joint. So think even when you're standing in line at the grocery store or wherever, give a little awareness to first, more weight should be in your heels. So we say gently lift the toes so the weight is heavier in the heels, and then toes relax back down. Your heels, the largest part of your foot, should hold the majority of your body weight. I know a lot, it's maybe difficult with yoga pants on, but get a sense on if your knees are pointed straight forward or if they're pointed in or out. The feet can be slightly separated, but no wider than your sitting bones. So think no wider than maybe a fist between your feet at the very widest. Hands are going to come to the hips, and I want you to pretend like the hips are a teacup, and you're going to tip it forward to tip some out. So we're tipping it forward. Legs kind of internally rotate. So you feel like you're sticking your butt out a little bit. You may feel a little tension in your lower back as we're forcing a little bit of curve there in the lumbar. Arms can rest to your sides. May feel very awkward or uncomfortable here. This is more how we should be standing, but we tend to lean on the cart or lean on the rack or whatever the case may be. So we're just going to stay here for a moment or so. Creases of the elbows are facing forward. Once they're facing forward, you can relax the hands however they're comfortable. They can just turn inward and rest. And breathe. Relaxing your tongue, your throat, soft palate. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead, extending out the fingertips, reaching up to the ceiling. Left hand's going to grab the right wrist. As we exhale, we lean to the left and gently pull on the wrist to help lengthen through the side body and breathe. A long, steady breath. Back to center, reverse your grip. Exhale, leaning to the right, gently pulling on the wrist. Relaxing your tongue, your throat, your soft palate. Being aware if your weight's shifting in your feet as we move. And back to center, release your grip. Trying to keep everything the same below the waist, a gentle back bend, and exhale, forward fold. May feel more like you're sticking your butt out, keeping those legs straight. Hands grab opposite elbows. Allow the head to hang. And breathe. Your weight should still be slightly heavier in the heels. You should be able to lift your toes up off your mat. Release the elbows, come to a flat back. Plant a hand, step the feet back to Halakasana, plank. Slowly lower all the way down with control, pointing your toes. Inhale, lifting the chest. Pulling the shoulders down and away from your ears. And breathe. Tuck toes, lift the hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk the feet forward. Start thinking about how those feet should be grounded. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Hands to heart center. How are the legs and the feet? Are they significantly different than what we just did? See if you can make those minor changes. Lift the toes, weight heavy in the heels. Feel that as if you're pouring out that teacup. Breathe. Inhale, we're going to lift the arms up overhead, extending and reaching out through the fingertips. On an exhale, you're going to drop your hips down and back toward your heels. Keep extending out the fingertips and breathe. Dropping the right arm down toward your mat. Arms are going to come to a T as your gaze follows the right hand. Relaxing your tongue and your throat. Inhale, bringing the arms back to center. Next, exhale, dropping the left arm down toward your mat. Arms come to a T as you gaze over the left shoulder. Another breath. Inhale, we lift the arms back up. Come to standing. Then we're going to bring the hands down to heart center. We're going to grab a block and find a spot near a wall. So we're going to take our toes onto the block. So back is resting against the wall. Toes are on the edge of the block. Heels are on your mat. And lean into the wall. And here again, you can control the intensity. The closer to the wall the heels are, the more intense it will be in the calf. Gently close the eyes, relaxing your tongue, your throat, and your soft palate. And breathe. There's no real muscles in the knee, but we can work on all the muscles around the knee joint that may be holding tension. And sometimes provide some relief. Another breath. And slowly come off the block. Find our way back to the front of your mat. Feet and knees together or slightly separated. Weight heavy in the heels. Creases the elbows face forward. Inhale, arms lift. Gentle back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant the hands, step the feet back to a plank. Slowly lower with control. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips. The downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then bring your knees down to your mat. Big toes are going to come together and touch. Knees can be wide to the edges. And on exhale, you're going to drop your hips towards your heels. And even here, this would be a good spot to take a rolled little mat behind a knee if beneficial. And you could even do that here with your mat, rolling it part way. Forehead rests on your mat. Arms reach forward. And breathe. Walk the hands over to the left. Right hand will rest on top of the left hand. Walking the hands off the right side of your mat, left hand on top of right. Back to center. Slide the hands underneath the chest and slowly push yourself up to sitting. And we're going to go back to where we took the rolled mat behind the legs. So a pose that can be quite challenging to get into, but is very healthy for the knee joint, is Supta Virasana. So that's where you're doing Virasana, but you're laying on your back. Blankets and bolsters and props can really make this beneficial. But what we're going to do, we're just going to lean back a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and use the mat behind our knees. So go ahead and roll your mat up again, like we had it when we were just in Virasana. Here we place it behind the knees, pinch it, come down, tops of the feet on your mat. And then if you wanted that block or two, you can certainly have them here. So all we're going to do, so the pose is really where you're laying, your back is all the way on the floor, can be really intense on the quadriceps. We're just going to take the hands behind us and lean back. So you can kind of control the intensity here. Maybe just gently gaze up toward the ceiling. It'll open up the chest slightly and kind of help taking you in the correct direction here. And breathe. And obviously, if this is too intense, you just simply come back up to sitting, and you can even come out of the pose if it's too intense for you in any way. Just stay here just for another breath. And we come back up to seated. Go ahead and come over to all fours, slide the mat out from behind the legs. You can unroll your mat back onto the floor. And we're going to grab your strap and lay onto your back. Our IT band can also be quite problematic in creating some tension. I know I did that myself because I overlifted and strained my left one. So I know it definitely can tie to the back of the knee, which can create some tension, and even right here on the front outside of the knee.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
Yep. So it's probably your IT band.
Okay.
So it comes down and it attaches, comes down the back of the leg, starts in your sitting bone and attaches right back here at the bottom of your femur. But that pain can go even down into the calf and then come around even to the front of the knee. Okay. And can really restrict even bending the knee, more. It may limit some of your range of motion here, right here on the outside. So we're working at just a little bit. We don't get too crazy. So we're going to take our strap and wrap it around the arch of the right foot, and then go ahead and lay down onto your back. And on an inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up toward the ceiling. So we'll get towards the IT band, but we'll go ahead and work the rest of the back of the hamstring while we're here. It does not matter how high the leg lifts, really focus on keeping the leg straight. And breathe. Relaxing your tongue, your throat, soft palate. Breathe. We'll take both ends of the strap to the left hand, extending the right arm out to your side. And exhale, you're going to take that leg across the body to the left. Really work to keep the leg straight. Right shoulder blade stays on your mat. So often when we take the leg over, we kind of release a little tension on the strap sometimes. See if you can keep pulling, keep tension on the strap, pulling the leg closer. And breathe. Even explore rotating the legs. So taking the toes towards the floor, maybe even, it's not going to be a big movement. It's very slight, but toes closer pointed towards the floor and then up toward the ceiling. And inhale back to center. And we're going to do, it's a pretty slight movement. If you were to go to like a physical therapist, they call this flossing your IT band. You're going to move your strap to where it's more like the on the ball mound of your foot. So a lot of times it's near the arch. Slide it to where it's near the ball mound. And you're going to flex the foot. So the toes are going to go towards the shin. I'm giving the strap some tension. Then I'm going to press the toes up toward the ceiling, but through the ball mount. I'm not pointing like ballerina toes. I'm going to come a little closer just so you can see the slight movement. So it's from here, and I'm pressing up through the ball mound. You may feel this more in the calf, but even right back here in the back of the leg, you may start to feel it. Let's just do 10 times. We don't want to overexert it. So just 10 times, pushing up through that ball mound and releasing toes back down toward the shin. When you're done, you can just stay with the leg lifted. Then we're going to take the leg out to the side. So strap goes to the right arm, right hand, left arm out to your side, and exhale, take the leg out to the right toward your mat. And breathe. Relax your tongue, your throat, and your soft palate. And breathe. And inhale, bring the leg back up to center and slowly lower your right leg back down to your mat. Slide the left foot into the strap. Next inhale, lifting the the left leg up toward the ceiling. That was really wrong. Wrong side and wrong part. And breathe. That long, steady breath. And taking both ends of the strap to the right hand, left arm out to your side. As you exhale, take the right leg, the left leg across your body to the right. And breathe, keeping tension on the strap. A long, steady breath. You're exploring toes toward the floor and rotating legs so the toes are more up toward the ceiling. Again, very slight movement. If you find a spot that has a little more tension in it, just stay there and see if it can start to release. Inhale back to center. You're going to move that strap so it's near the ball mound of the foot. It's behind the big toe. And then toes towards the shin and pressing through the ball mound up toward the ceiling. We'll do this 10 times on this side as well. When you're done, just rest with the strap on the foot. We'll take the strap to the left hand, extending the right arm out to your side. And exhale, take the leg out to the right toward the floor. And breathe. Keep that long, steady breath. Breathe. Another breath. Inhale, bring the leg back to center. Slowly lower back down to your mat. You can slide the strap off the left foot, setting it to the side. We're going to bend both of the legs so the bottoms of the feet are resting on your mat. We're going to place the right ankle on the left knee. And we're going to bring the hands behind the left knee as we pull that left knee into the chest. And start to release the top part of the right hamstring, maybe even into the glute. And breathe. Relaxing your tongue, your throat, soft palate. Keeping the knee in the chest, release your arms out to the side like a T. On an exhale, we're going to drop the legs over to the left. Gaze falls where the neck is comfortable. Another breath. Bring the leg back to center, uncrossing the right leg and placing the left ankle on the right knee. So you reach down, grabbing behind the right knee, pulling that right knee into the chest. And breathe. And long, steady breath. Keep the knee in the chest, arms out to your sides, like a T, and exhale, dropping the legs over to the right toward your mat. Left shoulder blade stays on your mat. Gaze where the neck is comfortable. And breathe. And we come back to center, uncrossing the left leg. We can just stay right here on your back. You go ahead and straighten your legs, arms to your sides, palms facing up. And gently close the eyes, relaxing your tongue, your throat, and your soft palate. With each exhale, release and relax, allowing the body to become heavy and to sink into your mat. You may even have the sense as if you are floating in water with just the chest and the face floating above. Nothing to achieve, nothing to accomplish. Simply breathe and allow the passive breath to breathe you.